So if you have to go and dig ditches and you hate digging ditches, guess what? Go and dig ditches. So put the ego aside, it's not about you. Sometimes you're really got to make those hard decisions to support your family, right? And I think that's really important. I think we miss that. Hey, Lawrence here, Business Beats, another quick take episode. Today we're talking about managing a family budget. It's pretty tough out there at the moment, really tough, right? Interest rates are going up and people are feeling the squeeze and feeling the pressure. And there's a lot of pressure in the market just because cost of living has gone through the roof. So we thought it appropriate to talk about managing a family budget. It may seem like a simple thing to discuss, or even the definition of that seems rather simple, right? But it's actually pretty complicated. And there's a lot to managing a family budget. There's psychology, there's economics, there's cash flow, there's career, there's family and children to consider, health, all these things that are wrapped up in managing a family budget. So we thought we'd unpack that a little bit and have a chat about that today. So I guess I wanted to start with the economics of the family. In true terms, the word economic came from managing a family, right? The word economics came from managing a family. So what that means is the economics or the finances of managing a family is really, really important, really important. So there's different cadence to that, I guess, size of your family, where you live, the current income that you have, all those sorts of things play into effect. But what is managing a family budget? So I'll break it down so it can give you a simple understanding of what managing a family budget looks like when you separate it out a little bit and put it into a few containers, okay? So the first thing is you need to know what you're earning, okay? That would be my best advice. And what that means is, what tax rate do you pay? How can you improve that? And I've spoken about this before. That was more about commercialization and building a company. But you can take building a company and you can bring it down into building a family or managing a family budget or managing the family economics, right? So that's a real thing. So what tax rate are you paying? Is it the right one? How are you using your superannuation? Here's the thing, most people actually don't know what sort of tax rate they're on. So get a good accountant, one that you trust, I've spoken about that before, and strip down the salaries and the wages inside a family. By the way, this episode is about people earning a salary, full-time employees, entrepreneurs who have a set amount of income every week. So then there's no side hustle. I might talk a little bit about that, but there's no side hustle. So the dad or the father, the husband earns, say, $100,000 a year. And then the wife and the mum, she's looking after two kids. There's a good scenario. So husband and wife, two kids, right? Wife pick a fancy and a German Chevy or some other type of dog, I don't know. So that's normally the traditional sort of outset for a family, two children and two parents. So the mum's only working part-time, bringing in, say, let's say $50,000. So they have a combined income of $150,000 from two different individuals. Now there's some tax benefits to that, right? And depending on what the husband or the wife does, there could be some things that you could claim to get a rebate or a tax refund that you don't know about. You know, are you claiming any part of your home as an office? You can do that. So that includes asset, hardware, electricity, and space. Are you using your vehicle for work? Are you claiming the right amount of kilometers with the tax office? So you've really got to speak to your accountant and unpack that. I won't go into all the details. There's so many verticals in that. But that's the first thing you should do. What you're going to do then is you're going to whittle everything down and you're going to come to a number. The number's going to be your net income. Not your gross income, it's going to be your net income. Income after tax. Okay, so there's two ways to look at that. You've got your net income and you've got superannuation. Now, depending on how old you are, you might be able to use your super as an investment leverage. Again, speak to your accountant. They'll be able to talk to you about that. And I would highly advise you do that. I think super funds perform all right. But if you were to get your super fund that had $50,000 or $100,000 in, invest that into real estate, you're just going to get a better return. You could put it into a fund, a real estate fund with other investors. That could be a good option for you, or have a broker who's managing some investment for you. Try and get the best return you can to help the family budget. Even if it was an extra $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a year, that could cover the annual family holiday. So you don't have to pull that out of a savings account when that can be used for something else, a bit of security, right? My advice is to don't spend your money on stupid stuff. And lots of families will buy unneeded things, right? And it just becomes a bit habitual. You know what I mean? Oh, it's young Jacob's birthday. Let's spend $3,000 on a birthday party and a whole bunch of crap he doesn't need. So you've really got to, if you really want to manage your budget well in a tough economy, you've got to be tough on yourself. You know, all the things that you think you need and you don't, get rid of it. Just strip it away. Okay, you don't need to buy another plush toy or a plastic blow-up swimming pool. You don't need it. Go without the swimming pool, right? So buy a hose. I don't know. So you really got to calibrate your expenses, right? So understand your tax. Just break into it a little bit. Understand your tax. Use your super and leverage where you can. Know what tax rate you're on and can you improve that situation. Try and increase a tax refund for the family, right? And when you've got your net income, now you can build your budget. Because here's the problem. If your weekly expenses are $100 and you only earn $90, you're in 10% trouble. Like, it just doesn't stack. And what happens is that 10% grows over a period of time. And then the family normally starts using the credit card to carry that extra weight. And then someone in the family gets ill and then they might have to go to hospital, or there's some medical expenses. You don't have medical insurance, but even if you did, you still have to pay the levy. And then you put that on the credit card too. This is where credit card debt grows, right? Because you can lean into the credit card and pay the $30 a fortnight or a month or whatever it is, and it doesn't feel like a lot. But what happens is you're paying 15% on that, probably sometimes more, maybe a little bit less, but look, it's pretty harsh, right? It's pretty aggressive interest rate. And then all of a sudden, you've gone through 12 to 24 months and you're in trouble. The $100 you were spending and you only got 90, that $10 is multiplied to 120 and then 240, right? Turn that into $10,000 or $1,000. That's $240,000. So just think about that. So I'll break that down again. If you're earning 90 and your expenses blow out to 100, you start to go into the red. It's not good. And when that compounds over time, it becomes a problem that weighs down on the family. And here's the other thing. It's stress and anxiety for the family, right? And look, families don't need that in this time. Like, it's a bit tough, but it's discipline. So what I'm saying is managing a budget is also about psychology and discipline. You know, it's not just about, we put a little bit over here and a little bit over here for rainy day and a little bit for holiday at the end of the year. If you have no discipline across that and things go wrong, you're going to be in trouble. Get discipline across the money, right? So the thing you have to do is you have to calibrate. If your expenses are 100 and you're earning 90, you need to get your expenses down to that, if not below, right? So now you've got a little bit of room to move. You cannot overextend yourself. Like, loans and credit cards will kill you. It's very difficult, especially if you're a family that don't have the prospect of increasing income in your current role, right? So I'm quickly going to move to how you manage your money inside that box, right? So this is what I do. I have multiple accounts. And the reason I do that is that they're what I call foreseeable accounts, all right? So I have a health account. I have a property investment account. I have a contingency account. I have a holiday account. So I have all these different accounts, right? I have a maintenance account. So this is for my personal finance, right? So I'll have a school education fund and all these types of things. Look, I'm thankful and privileged enough to probably earn a relatively good annual salary. And I get the tax benefits from that. And I have a really good accountant, or two of them. And I seek good advice. So I'm in a point of my life where I'm managing my money well. I didn't always do that. There was a large proportion of time of my life in my younger years where I really struggled with managing money. So you can learn, right? You can learn how to do this. So I really highly advise that you go and seek advice. If your family's struggling with your budget and with your money and your family economics, go seek advice. That's a good investment. You're better off investing that and giving that to an accountant who will give you good advice than going to buy a young Jimmy a plastic swimming pool that he doesn't need. You know what I mean? Or a plush toy where there's already 3 in the garage that he hasn't used for 2 years. What's the point? Right? So buy him a book about managing a budget. I don't know. So you got to really be cautious and manage that money well. So I put them in separate accounts. And when I do that, I can see those accounts raise, right? So if a situation hits me, I already have a bit of money to manage that, and it doesn't come out of my 90 or 100, right? Let's say I'm earning $1,000 a week. I have a family incident. I've got a $1,000 medical bill I have to pay. It doesn't come out of this. It comes out of this. So I can pay all the bills, and we can maintain a certain, quality or level of life, right? So the overextension on money will create a lower level of life, and it will create stress and anxiety in the family. And in fact, it's one of the biggest things that kills a family and splits a household up, where the husband and the wife start fighting and arguing, and then 2 or 3 years later they're divorced. It is a big component of divorce. Money is a very stressful place to live, because we do live on an economic planet, and economics can judge the quality of your life. Again, it's so important. So set up the accounts, get advice from your accountant, put a little bit away. If you're overextended, you can't do that. Like, if you're overextended, you cannot have separate accounts for the kids' health fund, the education fund, the Christmas holiday fund. You cannot do that. Don't do it. It is ridiculous that people try and do that. What happens is you get overextended and start using the credit card. You're better off just keeping flat, and then trying to figure out what you can do to get your income up, because that's all you've really got. So if you're in debt, and you're earning, $900 a week, but your weekly expenses are $1,000, it's going to compound. You're going to be in trouble. You need to get your income up. How do you do that? Look for another job. Ask for a promotion. Why not? How long have you been there? Why can't you do that? People don't ask for promotions anymore. They normally just sit there and wait for it to be offered. Go and ask for it. If you think you deserve it, you should do that. Maybe you need to pivot to another industry. What industry are you in? Is it declining? Is it in decline, a retraction? Or is it expanding? Is there other opportunity out there and you haven't got courage to go and do that? Well, maybe you need to find that courage, because I think that's really important. Because if you're not earning enough money and you could potentially earn more money, you should definitely go and do that. Right, so think about that as well. Sometimes it's not about managing what you have, it's just about improving what you have and what you've got. Sometimes it's about improving your outcomes, right? I think families who are really struggling with the family budget, sometimes, that element of scarcity installs itself into the family. And then they think that they can't do anything but just manage in that little box, right? Well, why don't you think outside the box and just go and jump into another one that's bigger, that has more prosperity? So sometimes that's really important to consider. So that's the psychology component I mentioned at the start of this video. It's not just about sometimes economics. It's about what can you do to improve your outcome, increase your salary to support your family. So think about that. So what I'm saying, I'm just going to do a little bit of a recap, is get an accountant. Know your position in your family when it comes to economics. What does your wife earn? What does the father, the husband earn? Put them together, know what your tax rate is, know what you're paying. Can you leverage that? See if you can do something with your super. Do some investment with that. By the way, money wants to be invested. Don't spend it, invest it. It's really, really critical. So once you've got all that right, it will give you an indication of whether you're overextended or underextended. If you're underextended, then you can set up some accounts. Stay away from those accounts. You should normally put them into another bank institution so you can't see them, and just start transferring that money. So over a period of time, you've got a little bit of a security blanket, right? Now, if it's between say $900 to $1,000, well, what if you could lift your income to $1,200? See that? So what I'm saying is the next part of that journey would be to, how do I increase my income? Because if you can increase your income, and let's face it, we're in a pretty good market. I think in America, I read an article not that long ago, just last year, where there were 4 available jobs for every 1 unemployed person. So, there's no bullshit excuses here. If you need to do that, you should do that. And by the way, these people who talk about, just do what you're passionate about, well, that's bullshit. You need to do what you need to do. So if you need to support your family, you need to go do something that maybe you don't like. And when you do something you don't like, it's going to make you a little bit stronger. And you're doing it for the right reason. So the intent is on point, right? So if you have to go and dig ditches and you hate digging ditches, guess what? Go and dig ditches. So put the ego aside. It's not about you. Sometimes you're really got to make those hard decisions to support your family, right? And I think that's really important. I think we miss that. So I'll back to it, a little bit of a tangent. When you've got that access income and you've got that job, that promotion, pivoted to another industry, start stacking that money away. And my advice is start to invest that money to pull yourself out of it. And here's the thing, when it comes to intergenerational poverty, The only way you get out of it is by increasing your income and increasing the flow of economics through your family, right? That's how you support your family moving forward. Otherwise, you'll stay in the same place for your whole life, and your kids will probably do the same thing because they're going to learn through observation. When your children get older, they're going to learn through observation. You can't tell them what to do anymore, and they'll emulate the parents, right? So now they go into a low socio-demographic environment and stay there and don't work themselves out of it. So a final part to that is education. One thing I had to do was educate myself about money, so that's what I did. What I do, I read like 100 books. And I was never a reader, so I was very uncomfortable, and I did lots of jobs I hated, and now I do something I love because it takes time to work yourself into that. So just consider that. So there's a few things going on there. I know the whole ethos of this app was about managing a budget, but it's just about managing yourself as well. It's not just about the money. Because, I said before, money is inert, it doesn't do anything. And if you want some of it, you have to go and get it, you have to earn it, and then you can pull your family out of the tough times that people are facing in 2023, right? It's really tough. The cost of living has gone through the roof. It's on every newscast that you can see. And what people don't talk about is how you get out of it. They just keep saying that everyone's in it and there's nothing that anyone can do. Well, that's not true. There's lots you can do. You just need to go and do it. Hey, look, I hope you liked it. I hope you got something out of this episode. I think it's a really important topic. Look, this is a non-profit venture. If you want to support us, we want to put good information out there. Please click on the button and subscribe. Hit the little reminder bell if you're on YouTube. And we look forward to speaking to you again soon. Cheers.